Yo, what's going on, guys? My name is Dallas. I also go by German, and today we are going to be doing another deck profile. This time we're going to be looking at the Machina deck. And what that is a series of machine-type monsters that like to be sent to the graveyard or send stuff to the graveyard from the hand, so you can get your big boss monster out. We're gonna go ahead and go over the best cards in this deck. To me, this is all subjective because I'm not that good at building decks right now, or probably won't ever be. But this is what worked. So the most important cards, first of all, is going to be Gear Frame, Unclaspare, Fortress. Fortress is kind of important. Machina Citadel and Machina Ruin Force. We will go over what these do. Just make sure, or just remember that those are very important for this deck. First, Gear Frame. When this is normal summon, you can add one Machina monster from your deck to your hand. Also, it's a union card, so you can activate its effect to equip to a different machine monster, and that monster if that monster would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can destroy this card instead. Next, we have Machina Possess Storage. And when this card is normal or special summon, you can target one Machina monster from your graveyard and special summon in defense mode. However, it can't activate its effects. And you can target one other Machina monster you control and one spell or trap card your monster controls, return them to the hand. Next, we have Machina Rest-Avenger. And this is kind of like an honest, whenever it's a quick effect, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard, then target one Machina monster from your or that you control, and it gains 1200 attack until the end of this turn. And when your Machina monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle, while this card is in the graveyard, you can add this monster to your hand from the graveyard, obviously. Next, you have Machina Unclasper. And when this card is added to your hand, except by drawing it, so it can be used for by anything, even Pot of Prosperity, you can special summon it and then send a Machina monster from your deck to your graveyard, which is good because the boss monsters like to be in the graveyard. Well, most of them. And it also works if it's normal summoned as well. However, you really want to special summon this. So you don't really want to start with it, but if you do, you have plays that you can go into. Next, we have one Machina Fortress, and if this card is in the hand or graveyard, you can send machine monsters from your hand to the graveyard up to, or that levels equal 8 or more. However, you can't send to level 7 and level 8 or level 9. Unfortunately, that doesn't work. So if you send to level 7, you have to send level 4. Don't know why they did it like that. Probably just so that you can't get Ruin Force out really easily. Basically, what you want to do is send Machina Fortress and then a level 4, and you get Machina Fortress out for free. And after that, you can go into, or you have a 2500 attack monster that when it is targeted by an effect, you can look at your opponent's hand and send one of those cards to the graveyard. Alright, next we have Machina Megaform, and you contribute this card, special summon Machina monster from your hand or deck, except for Megaform. If a face-up Machina Fortress is sent from your field to the graveyard, while this card is in the graveyard, you can banish that fortress and special summon this card from your hand or from your graveyard. You can only use that once per turn. However, it makes it so that you are not completely out in the open if this does get destroyed or sent to the graveyard. If it's banished, you can't really do much about that. Next, we have Machina Aerator. You can discard one other Machina monster from your hand and special summon this card from your hand. During your opponent's turn, you can target one machine monster from you, or machine monster you control, special summon from your deck one Machina monster with a different name and an equal or lower level than that monster. And if you do destroy the targeted monster, I believe you can target itself, so you can get a free level 8 out if you need to. However, the other level 8s aren't all that good. Speaking of which, we can go into Machina Irradiator. And you can discard one Machina monster from your hand and special summon this card to the field. You can target one machine monster you control, special summon from your graveyard one Machina monster with a different name with an equal or lower level than that monster, and then destroy a targeted monster. So this is to get something out from the deck, and this is to get something out from the graveyard. However, you probably will never use these effects. Especially not this one, since this is not a quick effect. So if you decide to use this, you can go into Unclasper or Possess Storage, and then from there get back what you need. So if you have Possess Storage, you special summon this, and then special summon Unclasper, send something to the graveyard. And if Unclasper is already in the graveyard, you probably already have Ruin Force, and from there you should just be able to special summon out Ruin Force. Next is a middling searcher. I actually don't like the searcher all that much. I'm just running 3 so that if I do search it, I can search stuff, basically. But all this is when you control, if you control no face up cards, you can normal summon this card without tributing. But its original attack becomes 1800. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can reveal 3 Earth Machine monsters from your deck. Then your opponent randomly adds one of them to your hand and shuffle the rest back into your deck. That's honestly not all that good, because you can't get Unclasp. You can get Gear Frame, but you've already normal summoned, so unless you have like double summon, which no one ever runs, you can't use Gear Frame at that point. And you can't even get Rest Avenger, so you can protect this by getting 1200 attack. A 1200 attack increase. The only ones you can actually get usually are Fortress, Megaform, or just all these level 8s. You can get the Citadel, but you really want this in the graveyard, so there's no reason to actually do that unless you have the Searcher and you're just trying to bait out Nash. The Searcher being this spell card right here. Next, you have Machina Citadel, and it must be special summoned, so it can't be normal summoned or set, and it must be summoned by a card effect. Quick effect, you can target one machine monster you control, destroy that machine monster and all other monsters your opponent controls with attack less than or equal to it. And if a face-up Earth Machine monster you control is destroyed except for Machina Citadel, you can summon this card from your graveyard. It's a decent board wipe. It has 3000 attack, which is pretty much the cutoff for I guess the starting point of all the boss monsters. So if you're facing a Blue Eyes deck or something like that, you can destroy, you can pretty much blow up their whole field before they do some stuff. That's not too bad. Next, we have Machina Ruin Force. Again, can't be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned by banishing machine monsters from your graveyard whose total level equals 12 or more. When your opponent activates a card or effect during the battle phase, you can pay half your life points to negate the activation, and then you get to half your opponent's life points. That's really good because if you can see it has 4600 attack. You half your opponent's life points, and you can pretty much OTK if you can attack directly. Which there is an Xyz monster that allows you to do that. And if this card is destroyed by effect, by battle or card effect, you can summon up to 3 of your banished Machina monsters whose total levels equal 12 or less. So, not only does this special summon, you get a negate, you get to half your opponent's life points while halving yours, but it doesn't really matter. You can also, if it gets destroyed, it goes into a floating effect, so you can special summon your banished monsters again. After you do that, you can link off Xyz, or just pretty much have your monsters go back to the graveyard and special summon it again. So it's a recycler. That's what's really cool about this deck. The main boss monster recycles itself, and the monsters that you need for it. And it gets effects, and your monsters get effects based on what you special summon. If you summon these level 4s that have on-summon effects. Or actually just Metal Cruncher. If you just summon Metal Cruncher, you have a 2800 attack monster that allows you to search. Next, I am just running the staples. I am running a Monster Reborn. Even though I can't special summon this, I can special summon Citadel if I need to. Or if I need to get something else to the graveyard, and Unclasp is in the graveyard, I can Monster Reborn it and then send something from there. Next, I am running 3 Machina Redeployment. And what this does is you can either discard 1 card, add 2 Machina monsters with different names from each other from your deck to your hand, or you can discard 1 Machina card and add 2 Machina monsters with different names from your deck to your hand. Very subtle differences, but very important differences. Just adding monsters, while it can be good, especially if you get Unclasp, if you have the ability to go in, if you have the ability to get your, well, I guess this is the only other Machina spell card that I'm running, or spell and trap card. They do have others, but these are the only ones I actually found that to be very useful. You can pretty much do this and then go into a bigger boss monster after or on your opponent's turn. So that's not too bad. Honestly, just the first one, discard one and add 2 Machina monsters is enough. It's just base by base basis, honestly. Next, we are running 1 Pot of Prosperity. You do care about the extra deck, but not too much to where you can't run this and send 6 to the graveyard. So that way you can search. Unfortunately, I don't really like the fact that I have to, do half damage. That's honestly very bad. I'm not even sure if it works, because you do half damage, but if you have your opponent's life points, that's not necessarily doing damage, at least from what I can tell. So you might be able to do that still in some way, still OTK, but doing half damage is not fun. Next, I'm running 3 Liminal Removals. It just doubles the attack of any machine monsters I have. All machines, so I'm running 3 Liminal Removals. And then I do believe this is also covered by Limb Removal, since it destroys at the end of the turn instead of sending. So after I use Limb Removal, it gets destroyed at the end phase, and then I can special summon stuff from the banished pile. Next, I'm running 2 Urgent Schedules. I believe I went over this, or no, I didn't. That was a different video. But I don't really use this all that often. If I am using it, I probably have some way to get the monsters either off the field or XZ summon. Because honestly, these links are not that good. They're just not. It's really unfortunate, but it is what it is. Next, I'm running 1 Breakthrough Skill and 2 Evenly Match. You can take out the Evenly Match because you want to be battling in the battle step. It's a very OTK oriented deck, so you can take this out and replace it with probably another Imperm, Solemn Judgment, or anything like that. And then I am running 2 Machina Overdrive. You can target 1 machine monster you control, special summon 1 Machina monster from your deck with a different name. It doesn't have to do anything to do with levels, so it's a little bit better than Aerator. And if you do destroy the targeted monster, then you can you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 3 of your machine monsters that are either banished and or in the graveyard. So you can pull from both, send them back to the deck, and then draw 1 card. And I'm running 2 Ice Dragon's Prison, just because this account doesn't really have a lot of good trap cards, so this was probably the best one that I could have for this for this deck. Now onto the extra deck. This isn't needed, so while there are a lot of SRs and URs in here, you don't really need these. It's just what I've been lucky enough to pull, or from other decks I've had to make. You have Dark Rebellion XZ's Dragon. You can target 1 monster your opponent controls. Its attack becomes half, and this card gains attack equal to that, equal to what it lost. And one of the best XYZ monsters you can have in this deck, which is actually just an R rarity, so it's a very vulnerable card. It takes 2 machine type monsters, and once returned, you can detach 1 XYZ material from that or from this card, then target 1 machine monster you control. It can attack directly this turn. So, as I was saying, if your opponent wants to activate an effect during the battle phase, you can have their life points, and then if this is on the field, you can detach a material from it, target Ruin Force, and then attack for game. And unfortunately, any other monster that you control can't attack, so if they do have a defense and you don't OTK, say they stop Ruin Force from going off with an imperm or something like that, and you still attack into it, you can't really, you won't be able to go for game because nothing else can attack. So you'll have to wait. You'll have to weigh that. Unfortunately. Next, I am running 2 Dreadnought Dreadnoids. I don't really need to. I usually need 1, and that's even if I can destroy anything. But what this does is, if you destroy a monster by battle, during the battle step at the end, you can special summon a rank 10 or higher Machine Xyz monster from your extra deck. And the ones that I'm running are Rail Cannon is the one that you can attach 1 material and inflict 2,000 damage to your opponent. Or Super Dimensional Robot Galaxy, whatever this is. Detach 1 card, destroy all spells and trap cards your opponent controls, and your opponent can't activate spells and trap cards in response to this effect. Then I am running the Super Dreadnought, the one that quick effect, you can attach 1 material from this card. Then target 1 face-up monster on the field. That target is unaffected by card effects except its own until the end of this turn. And I am running the Rail Cannon, which allows you to detach 1 material from this card, and it gains 2,000 attack and defense. Also, the rest of the turn, your other monsters can't attack, and you can, however, you can during each battle phase, this card can make attacks on monsters up to the number of materials it has plus 1. So it can make 2 attacks if you have 1 material, which most of the time you'll have Dreadnought Dreadnoid go into Super Dreadnought. Rail Cannon is this one. It's Super Dora. And from there you would have already had 3. You detach 1. That means you have 2 left, so you can attack 3 times with this monster. And links don't really matter. I just threw Avermax in here just in case I could somehow get, links or XZs out and I don't really want to go into anything. Avermax is a pretty hard counter to a lot of decks nowadays. But yeah, that's the deck. What do you guys think? I am really proud of this deck. It actually works really well. I did brick, unfortunately, one time, and it was against a Blue Eyes player, and I got so mad. But it is what it is. It happens. I mean, I'm running a lot of high-level monsters, a lot of spells and traps. So this is basically the form I go with. 20 monsters, 10 spells, 10 traps. Spells and traps can vary, but I always have at least the same number of spells and traps as I do monsters. Probably not the best for this deck, honestly, because you can break pretty easily with this deck. However, if you just get redeployment, then you can just search out 2 other monsters. So it's not all that bad. I just didn't happen to pull those. However, what you can do is just toss out these evenly matched, because again, you want to use your battle phase. Go to Machina and add whatever you want. Honestly, I think I'm gonna add another one of these and then one of these. I don't believe there is a... Yeah, I don't believe there's anything else I can do with this. I mean, you could use armored units, which it won't be all that good, especially since it requires something with less attack. It is what it is. So yeah, what do you guys think? Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you on the next one. Peace.